Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Life Support. As always, we're your hosts. I'm Danielle.
And I'm Dominique.
And today we are going to continue the series that we started on mental health, specifically like mental health in the context of like students and like university, college life, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And today we're going to focus more on burnout as like a specific topic.
Nice.
Because I feel like when we film this, it would have been exam times. It's like end of May, which is when I think burnout rates are the highest. And like it's something that people go through all year, like dips and like peaks and troughs.
Yeah, definitely. But before we get into the episode, make sure you are following us on social media, on Instagram and on TikTok. And make sure you subscribe to our podcast if that's on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button and the bell so that you know when we drop another episode. And on Apple Podcasts and Spotify.
Yeah.
Mastering the intro, we're learning. But yeah, make sure you follow us. So let's get stuck into today's topic. So it's mental health and we're talking about burnout. Should we just go over like maybe our own experiences with it?
Yeah, I thought a good thing to start with would be, I just looked up what the definition of burnout is.
Sure.
So according to Google, burnout is in the context of what we're talking about, physical or mental collapse caused by overwork or stress.
Cool.
Which is pretty much like when everyone thinks of burnout, that's what you're basically thinking of: overwork, stress, and you're just like done. Like,
you're down in the dumps. Yeah, fair.
So
it's something that you feel like you've ever experienced.
Oh, definitely, especially like in medical school.
Yeah.
Like every time, not even like exam times, because exam times it happens pretty much to everyone at some point.
Yeah.
But like like going with that, like even just during uni, like there are times where certain topics, like they're thrown at you so much information that you're just like, right, I can't do this anymore, and it just like your like productivity, your willingness to work, your like desire, like your ambition to work, all of that just like drops off a cliff, and it's just like at that point you just don't want to do anything, and it takes a while sort of to get back into the rhythm of things and like back into the willingness to do things as well.
No, I feel that. Like you just feel like you've put so much energy into something that you're just exhausted mentally, physically, emotionally, all the different ways you can be exhausted. Your battery's drained.
Yeah.
And I think what's hard is that it doesn't feel like there's a lot of time to recover. So we finish an exam, you're burnt out from an exam, and then like a week later you're straight back in it again. And obviously, we're speaking from a point of view about being students. I'm sure like once we're working full time, this becomes amplified because you'll have so many other responsibilities on your shoulder, a full-time job, and then obviously with medicine, you're always still studying. There's always exams still around the corner. Maybe you have family and kids and other responsibilities that then there isn't actually a chance to have a break and actually recover. And I think that's quite a daunting thought.
Yeah, because I think as like a student in university, you do get like Christmas, Easter, summer holidays. Some of them might be taken over with exams, but you do get a little bit of a break.
Yeah.
Whereas when you're working, you have like less
time off.
You don't get summer holidays anymore, which I shed a tear.
I actually don't know how I'm gonna cope. With because I think when we're on placement, I'm like, okay, this is our taster of what life is like. But I know I'm only there for 5 weeks at a time, and I know June is coming up, and I can't wait for my summer holidays. We're not going to have that luxury. We're going to have June is coming up, and then July will be there also. And August and September, and it will just keep going and going and going. I'm like, when do you stop? When do you actually stop? That's why I guess it's important that you find something that you love in terms of job, so that it doesn't feel like a job the whole time, you know, like you're working towards something you want to wake up to every morning. You have that drive and motivation, and even if it becomes a lot, you're still driven by the fact you like the work you do. It means something to you. Do you feel that way with medicine at the moment, like as you're studying it?
It's hard because studying, most people don't find studying enjoyable, but you study for the goal of having a job that you're gonna enjoy or be good at. But like with any job, I feel like the goal is to like have some element that you do enjoy or like it interests you at least.
Yeah,
So I
definitely.
think that's another thing why, like, with burnout, if it's like something that's not stimulating to your brain or like academically, you're not going to enjoy studying it. And then if you
No,
have to study it,
you're gonna be like, this is a
like
chore. Don't want to do
like
it.
with some aspects of medicine, like pharmacology, I'm like,
No hate to any of the pharmacologists out there. It's maybe just not the best taught thing on the program for us.
oh yeah, no, from no background,
Yeah,
from like yeah, any aspect that you don't enjoy,
yeah,
even if it's not like the full like degree, it's just like little bits, like little, and like any course, like any university course or college course, whatever. There's going to be some part that you don't enjoy, but you're going to have to study for exams,
yeah,
and then like you're going to like overwork yourself, like because you have to study for all the other parts, but like this
yeah,
part you don't enjoy as much. So
yeah.
like the other parts you might enjoy studying for, or like at least it's more interesting to you. So it's going to be a little bit less like
Stressful.
tedious.
Yeah.
Whereas yeah, those parts are going to be a bit harder to get through.
I
And like
think we're
yeah,
in a unique position with medicine because, say, for example, pharmacology, I might not like studying it because I don't think it was delivered particularly well, but it overlaps with so many other aspects, every aspect of medicine, that I can find the aspect that I do like. So I like surgery, for example. I can look at pharmacology related to surgery, and then that helps me look into more like the physiology and things like that that are relevant for pharmacology, you know, like I feel like with other topics and areas, a lot of the subjects are very standalone. And so if you don't like that area, it doesn't really overlap with any of the other areas that you're studying. And so you have to force yourself to study, and there's no way of making it fun and nice. Whereas with medicine, there's something I might not like as a topic, but I can add the elements I do like, make it more related to topics I do like, and then kind of ease it, mold it, disguise it
yeah,
into something. Like kids that don't like veg, and then the parents like deep
put it
fry
in,
it, and they're like,
or just like hide it
it's
in the wood.
chips,
Yeah,
and they're like, oh yum. That's what I
yeah.
do with the topics I don't like. But yeah.
But yeah, I guess talking more about burnout, how do you find yourself getting out of that slump?
Ooh, this is a good question. So I think I'm definitely a routine person. Like I need my routines and structures. Not to say I need things to become like monotonous and the same thing every day, but I need like some form of a structure. That way, when I feel like the burnout's coming or I feel like I'm in that point where I like have no motivation to do anything, if I can look at like my planner and look at a week ahead and say, okay, right, I said I'm going to go to the gym. Let's go to the gym. I'm going to do some studying today. Let's do some studying. I'm going to make dinner, make a nice dinner. If I see that there's stuff that I've set ahead of myself to do, I don't need to use the mental energy to think, what do I need to do now? That's taken away.
Yeah.
And then that helps me just, you know, just gets the wheels rolling. Like I
Okay.
just start. I think it's quite easy if you're in a burnt out state and you're mentally tapped out, like you're so mentally exhausted. If nothing is laid out ahead, no plans are in place, nothing, it's hard to mentally develop that in the state of being exhausted. You know what I mean? Like, so I just make sure I plan, you know, I plan my weeks in advance. And then if I burn out midweek, I'm like, okay, well, I'll reset the weekend where I said I'm going to go for a walk, go to a coffee shop, you know, film a podcast episode. I'm doing all those things. By the end of the day, I'm like, oh, I feel better. Here comes Monday, and I'm ready again.
Yeah.
That's how I kind of deal with it. How about you?
I mean, I guess this is a good thing to cover because like I'm very different to you in that aspect because like I've tried to be someone who's like, oh, let me get a diary and like write down everything that I'm gonna do today.
Yeah,
that's never how it works. I'm more of like on the
doesn't work
whim,
for
like
you.
spontaneous type of guy. Like whatever I want to do on that day, I'll do it.
Yeah.
So I guess that's quite good in that aspect. It's like a bit different.
Yeah.
So for me, it's like more like it takes time to like recover. Like I just like to do things that I enjoy, like completely take myself away. Like once it's done, once I'm like in that state, I like to completely take myself away from any part of like what I was studying. So like any part of medicine. Once the exams are done and like I'm out of that burnout state, I just completely take myself away.
Yeah.
Like hang out with friends, like play games, go for a walk, like sports, that sort of thing. Just anything that I enjoy that is like the furthest thing away from what caused the burnout. It's what
Fair.
works for me.
Yeah.
And then obviously like slowly with time you get like more
Reintegrate it.
energy,
Yeah.
more back into how you are before. Because
Yeah.
I guess going back a wee bit from that, how do you feel when like you are burnt out? Like how
Yeah.
like what sort of feelings do you get? Like
Oh,
how do you feel overall during that time?
honestly, I just feel for me exhausted. Like it's tiredness. And it's not like I'm tired because I didn't get enough sleep or, you know, I'm lacking in energy. I feel like my body would run a marathon if it wanted to. Actually, no, my body would never run a marathon. Never going to do that. My body would happily go and lift heavy weights in the gym, but my mind is like, I don't want to do that. And I have no plans to do that. And I would rather just sit in my bed watching trash TV and, you know, just doom scroll on social media. Not to say like, oh, when people do that anyway, does that mean they're burnt out? No, that's just me because I know like my normal state is quite like I like to fill my time up with doing stuff. So I notice that when I'm actively being like, I don't want to do stuff, I don't want to go out, I don't want to see people, I don't want to go to the gym, I don't want to spend time with friends and family. It's not because I don't want to see them, it's just because I feel like mentally drained. My battery's gone. So
I guess that's a good point as well, because like burnout doesn't have to just be from studying or anything. It can be from anything.
Yeah, it can just be like, I think again, linking to medicine, it's such a social course. I don't think I realized how much social interaction you have with it. And I'm quite a social person, but there's being social where it's your choice and you meet up with the people you want to meet up with and you set your own agenda and time. And then there's being social in a job, in a work environment where you have that face-to-face interaction with people every day. And it's not like in a retail where it's like, oh, do you like this shoe? Or, oh, do you like that phone?
Yeah.
No, okay, bye. It's, hey, doc, I think I might have cancer. And you're like, wow, I have to like be really present in this moment and digest a lot of information, and you're learning constantly, but you're surrounded by 10 different people. And you have to constantly be on the alert.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I'm tapped out. And I feel really bad because I feel like I'm not meeting friends and I'm not being social with people anymore. But I'm just like socially drained. And I think that's becoming my new form of burnout, is like the social burnout.
Yeah.
Which is like a weird concept because I think a lot of the time people are like, I've got too much work on, and that's why I'm burnt out.
No, I get what you mean, yeah.
Different elements, but yeah.
It really happens.
That's how I feel when I'm in that state. How about you?
No, I get what you mean with the social sort of burnout, because I quite like, I like to hang out with my friends, but like I'm not someone who could do that like every day, every week. Like I can't. Some days I just need for myself because like I'm a bit introverted, so like I need days to like recover my social battery.
Yeah.
So like if like there's weeks where like I'm seeing someone every single day, by like whatever like the end of the week, I'll just be like in bed, like doing like just dying, like I was just completely out of it. Yeah.
I was speaking to someone on placement, and I was like, it's so annoying because I never wanted to be that person that was like, I live Monday to Friday, living for the weekend, and then go. But I feel like I'm starting to become that. And at the weekend, I'm so tired, I just want to stay in my room and sleep. But then you've got a lovely day like this today. You know, it's your opportunity to see people because you're maybe too busy and everyone else is too busy during the week. And I'm just like, oh, maybe I'll just stay in bed. And I'm like, no, I need to fight that. I need to fight that head on. But like you said, also like you mentioned about doing things that you like to do and like removing yourself from the thing that causes burnout. I was thinking like, actually, like even though I have my routine and stuff, I try and incorporate as much of the things I like to do in my routine. So like in my day-to-day, Monday to Friday, I'll make sure there's like the times where I'm like, I'm doing things that I like to do. I love cooking, so I'll make sure I like will cook when I come back from placement, so that I'm like, you know, doing that thing I like to do, seeing my friends. If it's a revision session or something, I'll do that way and sort of like staving off that burnout as much as possible.
I guess in a way we're both doing the same thing, but you're doing it more routinely, whereas mine's a bit more impulsive, like, oh, I kind of want to do this today, I'm gonna do that, just take myself away. So,
I highly think, I don't know if I should say this is like not a great thing.
Okay.
I don't want to say like I don't have great impulse control because that doesn't sound right, but I think I'm very easily can become too into something, like I love going to the gym and I will just fixate on going to the gym so much that I just don't do other things. So I feel like I need that structure to stop me just going through like a whole gym phase constantly and then being sick of the gym afterwards and then being like, I need a new hobby to be interested. Same with like food. I will eat something constantly because I'm like, I love that. I love that. And then after like a week or two of having it every day, I'll be like, I don't want to see that again. So I'm like, I think that's where the routine structure comes from.
To be fair, going on to that, because like I get that a lot, like a hyperfixation on foods.
Yeah.
I've heard it's an ADHD thing. I just think it's a human thing to like love a certain food, just hyperfixate on it, and be like, I never want to eat this again.
Yeah, I think that's natural because it just hits all the right spots, and you're like, this is amazing.
Yeah.
But when things stop becoming novel, I think that's the thing. When stuff isn't new to me anymore, and it's just nah.
Yeah.
Then I'm like, oh, the excitement's worn off. I need the next. Maybe this sounds problematic. Like doing a burnout episode and then self-diagnosing with.
So going back to the burnout.
Yeah.
You were saying about social burnout.
Yeah.
I get that sometimes as well with like certain sports or activities, especially if like it happened before in the past with certain sports, like the people that I was doing with, I wasn't enjoying it because I didn't like those people, and, like, or like we weren't clicking. Yeah. So like we weren't like with friends. And like you see them a lot, especially if you're doing a sport competitively.
Yeah.
Where like you're kind of forcing yourself to do it, and then eventually you do reach that point of burnout, and it's happened before. And like I'd never want to do that sport again.
Yeah.
So for me, what I do is I just move on to a different sport that I like is similar enough that I'll enjoy it. But then like for me, like the main thing I'm looking for in sport is like the people I'm with.
Yeah.
Like, I want to enjoy doing it.
The environment.
That's why
I think it's like that thing of knowing when to check out of stuff before you reach the point of burning out. And I've seen this before, like knowing when to quit. Because quitting is not something that we should do, you know, like you're in that headspace where you're always told, never quit, never say never, keep going. There's no such thing as you can't do this, right? So you just keep going and going and going. But actually there's some times where you have to be like, this isn't for me, this isn't serving me in any way, I need to check out. Not because you couldn't do it, but because you're not going to get any benefit. And if you got to the end of it, where are you going to be?
Yeah.
Literally vegetating in your room because you're so exhausted. Then on balance, I'd rather say I tried it and I've gone somewhere else and I found something else that like gives me more energy.
And I think that's something like getting older now. Getting older.
You're still young.
I'm
so young.
As you get a bit older, because this happened like teenagers, you're like
yeah.
doing something because you're like forcing yourself. Like I want to enjoy this, but like now, like if I don't enjoy something, there's like very little desire to do it.
Yeah, I mean your time is more precious. Like the older you get, the more valuable each ticking second is, and you're like, there's no point continuing wasting my time on this. I'm not going to get this time back.
Yeah, why especially like at uni, like we're talking about burnout. You get like if I'm getting burnout from like uni, I don't want to like get the same thing from like forcing myself to do a certain sport or activity that I don't enjoy. So like I'm only going to do things that I enjoy now.
Yeah. Have you ever felt like with medicine, when you've been close to burnout or have burnt out, have you ever felt like this might not be for me as like a career?
It's hard because I do it's a very like recurrent thought, especially in medicine. Like, why am I doing this to myself? Oh, I shouldn't finish this. I should just quit right now.
Yeah,
hop on to a different degree or something.
Yeah, finance guys aren't looking so bad now.
let me get the delay like this thing.
Chinos and chinos. Yeah.
But
how do you balance those thoughts? So like you get that feeling, and then you're like, I'm still here. I'm still doing this.
I don't know. I guess now it's just like a desire to finish, and like. It's that, like we all do it for the end career. You study, you go to uni to get a degree to then work. Because most of your life, a very little percentage of your life is going to be university or student life.
Yeah.
Most of your life is going to be working.
Yeah.
To when we're, who knows, 70, whatever.
Yeah. This is what I want to do.
So you pick it like looking at the end goal, the end career goal that you're going for. And I think for me as well, the thing about being a doctor is that there are so many different avenues that you can take.
Yeah. You go into it with such preconceived notions of like, this is what the career path is.
Yeah, but like,
you get into it and you meet so many people and they're like, I did this. And you're like,
they're like done, like you can do like whatever you want. You can do academics, research. You can like become like a GP, become like a surgeon if you want to become like emergency medicine doctor, that sort of thing. So like there's so many different avenues, and they're all so different in terms of like work-life balance, a
Mhm.
daily like schedule. Like some are more sort of
Hands-on.
spontaneous, like what's going to happen. Some are more hands-on. Some are
Yeah.
more like research, like sort of lab-based.
Mhm.
And like there's every like avenue you can take. You'll find one that's for you that
Mhm.
you'll enjoy more, that fits more with your demands, whatever that be.
Yeah.
And like I think that's what's keeping me going, is knowing that like the right career can wait for you at the end. That like
Do
one that
you
you'll
think
enjoy and that's going to fit with you.
controversial, right? Do you think we approach it very wrong, and that's maybe we're contributing to our own burnout, in that we're like chasing the degree to get the job, but when we're in that job, we know we need to keep chasing to another level. We need to chase to get to the trainee positions, chase to get to the consultancy position. Like we're constantly looking ahead and chasing that next thing and trying to, like, you know, put your CV portfolios together, get all these accolades, get all this, get good grades, everything. And then the burnout's coming from the fact that like you're processing like maybe 10, 20 years ahead of where you're actually at, and your body needs to just
Yeah.
focus on your day in, day out, like process today.
Yeah, I definitely think
Do you
that's
know
what
what I
it is,
mean?
because like it's such a competitive like field.
It is.
Everything's competitive nowadays.
Yeah.
So like,
But do you think our mentality is what's maybe contributing to our burnout, that we're such a chase the dream kind of mentality as opposed to just like enjoy the journey?
yeah,
And
it's like that thing. They say like you sort of like in life, you're constantly like working to like get to the next level, get to the next level, get to the next level, and then suddenly your life's over. So what were you living for?
Exactly.
That sort of thing.
Do you think it would be possible to live that way, like live in the moment in a medical career, in a medical degree?
I mean, it's hard in today's society, not to get all like political, but it's hard in today's society.
We're
not
here,
to work.
let's tap in.
But yeah, it's hard not to like fight that. But like, it's also important like on the way to like take moments for yourself, like do things you enjoy while also
Building for the
working towards that.
future.
And like, yeah, maybe like having a like routine or like planning is like the best way to like avoid that. So you'd be like, right, I'm going to dedicate this time to what I need to do to study, whatever.
Yeah.
And then everything else, like I can do whatever I want.
Yeah.
So like it's about having that like routine while also having that like free time for like
with freedom and liberty. Yeah.
Spontaneous like impulse
balance,
activities. Be like,
isn't
yeah,
it?
yeah, it's all about balance.
Yeah.
So just
So yeah, I feel like overall it's all about balance to avoid burnout, finding the things that work for you, and maybe not chasing future so much and trying to be more present.
Yeah.
So that you're more in tune with your body, with your mind, and how you feel, so that you don't burn out.
Yeah.
And then if you do burn out, like just finding sustainable ways to like get yourself out of that. Reach out for help, talk to people. Like obviously we're doing this mental health series. If you ever want to reach out to us, we're always open to chat to. So like find people that you can confide in and talk to, because it gets lonely whenever you're in that state, and it becomes a vicious cycle of you burn out, you come out of the burnout, you do the thing that leads to burnout, you're back in again. And if your burnout is because of your career or what you're studying, it's kind of hard to get away from that, you know. So I think the key takeaway for our point of view at the moment would be find the right balance and find the right structures.
It's definitely important to keep your end goal in mind.
Yeah.
But you don't want the end goal to be
your
like current like hyperfixation. You want it to be,
as we were saying earlier.
As we were saying, you want it to be like something that's in your mind, like, oh, this is what I want to get to at the end. But like you don't want it to cloud your present, like current life. Like live in the moment.
Exactly.
So I just had a couple like more questions that I wanted to cover before we wrap up.
Yeah.
So the first one is, are students aware of the mental health issues and burnout rates in the industry? Like sort of awareness amongst student groups for burnout,
the profession
and mental health
that they were going to.
Or like as a student as a whole, like sort of like awareness. Like I feel like it's something that's talked about, but it's not something that like you see like a lot of like people like being like, oh, if you're feeling burnt out, here, come get some help. It's not something that's advertised, but it's something that's known.
I think it's that thing that it just rumbles along in the background and everyone just dips in and out of conversation about it. Like we are now, we're talking about it, but do things happen? Like it's hard to say, because I've definitely noticed around the hospitals and stuff, I'll see little posters being like, have a natural break. And I was like, what the hell's a natural break? It's not just a break. And they were like, if you've been working for like this so long period, have a quick 10-minute, do something else, check out for a bit, and then come back. And I was like, so zoning out, that's what I do anyway. So I've noticed those posters around the hospital. I've definitely noticed a bit more like mental health well-being things around, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if us as students, I don't know statistics. I don't know. I just know that everyone around me has felt very stressed at certain points in their career. So
I think it's something that like sadly has become like part of the university like experience. It's like part of like it's something that everyone knows happens, everyone goes through. It's just not talked about, which is sad, like in general.
It is, but I think then it becomes really important to find the right support places that will signpost you, whether that's your course, whether that's your clubs and societies that you're a part of, because we all know it exists. So therefore, there's people that have experienced it, the people that are above you, people in your peer group. So reaching out, finding the people that you can confide in, because they will point you to where you need to go to get that help to avoid burnout or to process things whilst you are feeling that way. Yeah.
Okay. So just the last thing to go over is just someone who's like sort of talking a wee bit about their experience with a wee question, a hopeful question at the end.
Okay.
So the complete burnout feeling at the end of the year has just knocked me out. I struggle with lectures using white slides and the presentation that makes it hard to read with my dyslexia and ADHD. Lastly, being hyper-focused on work means now that I am almost done and approaching summer, I realized I completely ignored my friends and will probably have a really lonely summer break. And this person, I think it was in first year, so they're asking if it gets better like as you go along.
Oh no! Okay. First of all, it does get better because I think first year you're still developing. Is this a medic?
I'm not 100% sure. I think it's just in general.
Let's just assume university first year, you're still figuring out who your friendship groups are, who you connect with, who you don't. You're going to go to second year. If you get involved in clubs and societies, you're going to meet more people. I wouldn't say it was probably until third year that I fully found like who I click with in terms of day in, day out. Obviously, there's people I met in first and second year that I see all the time, and I'll be like, hey, we're friendly. But like the people that I like know day in, day out that I'm around, it took me until third year.
Oh yeah.
And then you start making your plans for summer and things like that with people where you can hang out outside of the course. It takes some time to develop those relationships. So don't worry about feeling lonely over the summer because you've neglected. Your true friends will know that you've been busy and will not hold a grudge against you for that, And if people around you are holding a grudge against you and like, oh, you didn't reach out to me, so I'm not going to bother reaching out to you, that's not someone you necessarily want in your life, because as you get busier in the future, you're going to hope and wish that those friends are there for you sort of unconditionally, not on the condition of you have to message me first, that whenever they'll send you a message thinking of you and you're like, okay, cool. Yeah. They got my back still. So wouldn't stress about that.
Yeah. Just touching on the white slide thing, because I don't like the white slides either.
Yeah.
So what I do is I pre-download the slides because I have my laptop on dark mode.
Yeah.
So that I'm looking at
I've noticed that, yeah.
Because I just don't like the white, I don't know, just gives me a head migraine or whatever, headache. I'm just like, I can't look at it. So I put it on dark mode because I like to write a couple notes beforehand because like sometimes they go through super fast.
Yeah.
Or they'll add things. So like I don't want to have to like, I want to have that base that I can
add stuff on top, yeah.
Yeah, talking about what you were mentioning, yeah, for me, like some of my closest friends that I have now, I've met this year.
Yeah.
Especially like outside of medicine, like some of them I've met really, like I'm really close with now. Like I met at the beginning or like middle of this year, and now we're super close.
Yeah.
But yeah, you meet different people every year. You make different friends every year, and like some of them stay, some of them don't.
Yeah.
Some of them you're super close with, some of them you're just like acquaintances or friendly with.
Yeah,
and that's
exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
You meet a lot of different people.
Yeah.
So I definitely feel like as you go along, you learn more how to deal with it. Because in first year, you're fresh and you're a little baby. You don't really know how. You don't really know. You like struggle how to study because it's so different. Like we've done a full episode transition to uni.
Yeah.
Talking about a bit about this as well. So if you want to watch those episodes to get a bit more,
go back and see them.
Yeah. But yeah, you definitely like learn more as you go along your uni career.
And you mature in yourself, and depending on the kind of person you are, like we mentioned about hyper focusing on things and hyper fixating on things, unfortunately you are going to have periods of your time and life where your main focus, and I don't know if we want to call it a hyper focus or hyper fixation on things, it's just a priority. And right now, your priority was to study.
Yeah.
You had exams, assessments, deadlines coming up. Every human that is in any sort of, work environment, whatever, is going to have periods of their life where their top priority is their job. It could be that your top priority in the future is your kids. Like, you're going to focus everything on that thing. And that's not because you don't care about the other things around that. It's just number one priority is this.
Yeah.
So I think it's natural to have that hyperfixation priority on that thing. And you can spend the summer not being lonely, but just rebuilding connections with people, reaching out to people, seeing where they're at, because maybe also they didn't reach out to you because they're also busy. And it touches on stuff we said before, like, we're so worried about what other people think about us. We forget that everyone's also in their own heads thinking about, what's the wrong thing. So everyone just kind of becomes so like, but just reach out to people.
Yeah, and like, I feel like something else to touch on is like something I've really enjoyed getting older, not this again.
He's sitting on his rocking chair.
Holiday. But like,
kids these days.
I feel like as a person, I'm not someone who would like reach out every day being like, you want to hang out? Want to hang out?
Yeah.
So like the friends that I've really enjoyed having are friends that are similar, like people that like you don't need to, like, if you're really busy, you don't, like, they'll understand, and like you can see each other once a month, yet you're still like good friends. Yeah, that sort of thing.
I mean, like, really, you just have to find what defines a friendship for you.
Yeah,
I think like, as you get older,
some people are okay, like just like texting. Some people like you'll see anyway, or like some people you'll see like, as I said, like once a month or whatever, and you'll still be like good friends.
Yeah.
And then other people like you'll see like often if you wanted to. Like I feel like that's another thing. Like if like you want to and they want to make an effort, then you'll make an effort. Yeah.
I think always rank, and what I'm learning to do as well, because I used to be at school think everyone is my friend, and my mum used to be like, no, not everyone is your friend.
Yeah.
And I still am to some degree. Like, I look for good in people, and everyone's on a good thing, but I will prioritize the amount of effort I give to someone to mirror the effort they give to me. So if someone doesn't message me for ages, not tit for tat level, but if someone is not in constant communication, I'm not going to bombard them constantly. They're like, hi. Same token, if someone is more like, talkative and is talking to me more often, I probably will end up being more engaged with them. That's not to say one person is more important than the other person. It's just like a matching of the wavelength that we're on, and that's a relationship. And if I can obviously see that someone doesn't want a certain type of relationship with me, that level of a close friendship with me, then I will do the same. So how you're feeling like, oh, I haven't spoken to people, and they might just be respecting your space. And again, as we said, the priorities that you're setting at the moment being with school, and giving you that space and mirroring the fact that you need space. And once you reach back out to them, they would engage with you again and mirror that. So I think that's the thing. Like, as you get older, you realize your style, you realize what people are giving to you, and you give back.
Yeah, and if they're not giving you the same amount of energy, then especially like now, I'll take a step back as well.
Exactly.
And like if that's how it is, then eventually the friendship does fizzle out a wee bit.
And you get to a settle, you get to a place where you're like, oh, okay, this works.
You're putting the same effort. Yeah. Like, if they want to, like, they realize that and they want to build that, then again, that's fine. If they're not, then not every. You get right friendships at the right time.
Exactly.
Like, you're not. It might have been like a strong friendship in first year, but then it might have fizzled out. That's happened a couple like times for me. Like people that I was really close friends with in first year, I'm not like that close with anymore.
Fair.
But
and not to take things personally as well. I think that it always comes back to that feeling when it's to do with friends and people and things like that.
You grow, you develop, and you may not grow in the same way or in the same aspect, and that's okay. Like, you'll move on, they'll move on, everything will be okay.
Exactly.
Okay. So,
that was nice.
Yeah, that was a good place to wrap it up. So thank you guys for watching. As always, you can follow us on Instagram and TikTok and Spotify, Apple Podcast, and YouTube to catch the episodes. And next time we'll probably be continuing this mental health series with a different aspect.
Yeah.
But tune in next time for that. So thank you guys for watching, and we will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.